Hey everybody, day 26 and Friday. So I'm excited to go home, tired after a long week. Today I'm going to talk about something I just had a conversation with a colleague a couple weeks ago, and this comes up, I would say, fairly regularly in a teacher's life is what do you do when a parent gets upset about your choice of personal activism, whether it be wearing a shirt or how you present yourself in class or what you have on your classroom walls or whatever it may be. And there's no short or easy answer to that. I think that first and foremost, you have to come at a place for respect. Parents trust us with their children to teach them and to educate them. And I definitely understand the concern that, something that you maybe hold as a value in your home or a belief in your home is being challenged by a teacher. For one, we do have the benefit if we're teaching high school. Most of the time, when we have very good protections in our district, and we have a policy on the board um, from the board that explicitly states that we are to not shy away from controversial topics and that we can engage in them in an age appropriate manner. And they consider the kind of sophomore, junior, senior year, these later years of high school, as being the first fully mature age for students to be able to handle these topics and talk about them. So, if you don't have something like that in your district, that protects the ability for teachers, the academic freedom for teachers to be able to discuss these things in classes. Maybe see if you can get that passed on your board. Feel free to look at bsd405.org, go to the policies, search for controversial issues, and you can see a sample of that. So that's one thing, right? But within that, it does give language that teachers should never present their own opinion as the only um, possible opinion or the only right opinion. And this is a very, very tough topic when you're talking about things, right? Like um, how do you discuss issues of social justice that aren't about politics? It's not about voting for tax reforms or the Second Amendment gun rights, and gun laws and things like that. But it's really talking about people's humanity, right? Like not referring to undocumented people as illegals. Saying Black Lives Matter, right? Like these things are not necessarily political. Sure, they get politicized, but they're not political. It's about humanity. And so, how do you balance that, and how do you make sure that you're doing it in a way that's gonna try to get parents to understand where you're coming from? So, one, make sure that you're within your board's policy of what you're allowed to talk about and what your academic freedom allows you to do. Two, be very, very respectful of parents and understanding and listen to them, right? Practice mindful inquiry, listen to them and ask them to tell me more about what you mean by this, or tell me more about why, where this is coming from and what the frustration is, and what you think is happening in class. And then also just really, three, like really focus on relationships with students and building those relationships of trust. There are students I've had that are completely opposed to everything that I stand for, and I can still build a relationship with them and still, connect with them and converse and have these conversations. So it's just a matter of being really careful of, staying within your curricular bounds, building those relationships so that, if at all possible, you avoid having any type of conflict with students or parents escalating to that level. But then when it does, remain calm, listen to people, hear them out, and then articulate why you have your position and keep it focused on students, right? Like I don't wear Black Lives Matter because I'm trying to get some political gain out of this. I wear Black Lives Matter to stand up for my students, that our students identify black and they don't feel like their lives matter in this country. And so, I'm doing this to remind them. And so stay student focused throughout whenever you're talking with parents, or whenever you're talking with parents and administrators, or whatever it may be, is keep it focused on the students, keep it focused on the curricular, keep it focused on how we have to discuss things that are happening in our world today, because where else are they going to get to talk about it, right? You talk about it in your families, it's an echo chamber. You talk about it with a group of friends that has the same idea, it's an echo chamber. The internet is the worst place that you want people talking about it. The classroom is really the only place to be able to discuss these issues in a safe way and get a lot of different perspectives. And so, just stay strong. Everybody's going to face criticism. Everybody who puts themselves out there is going to face criticism. from parents or otherwise, and just know why you're doing what you do, get support from your administrators, and do what you feel is best for your students, and then stand behind it. So, pretty heavy topic for Friday, but thanks, and we'll talk to you guys later.